This is a story about power, the astonishing power of individual people and grassroots organizations when they take on the tobacco industry.
I believe that those of us doing tobacco education on a local level have a tremendous opportunity to fight back against the tobacco industry and have been very successful because local communities do not want a large multinational corporation interfering with local affairs.
There is no town too small to escape the attention of the cigarette companies. They are everywhere. They have a very broad intelligence network, and to them, any law passed, any policy implemented in any community, no matter how small, is bad.
The tobacco industry is not even from the state of California, yet to be given such a carte blanche entry, we found completely unacceptable.
The tobacco industry has come in big time with all their resources. They're very sophisticated, and they have placed money in the right places.
We wanted to reveal that industry in a very, very human way for what they were all about. They don't tell the truth.
Nicotine is not addictive. I believe nicotine is not addictive. Cigarettes do not meet the class.
But make no mistake about it. This industry is determined to sell cigarettes and other tobacco products to anyone. Why? Mind-boggling profits. If this 15-year-old starts to smoke, she will spend about $40,000 on cigarettes before she dies of heart disease or lung cancer. And every day in the United States, 3,000 kids like her start smoking. 3,000 kids every day. Sure, it's a lot of lives. It's a lot of medical bills later on. But do the arithmetic. It adds up to $1,200,000 of potential revenue every single day. With that kind of money at stake, the tobacco industry will do anything. They target children in their advertising and promotion. They lie. They interfere with local health departments, and they obstruct community efforts to clear the air of second-hand smoke. Children are the obvious target for Joe Camel.
How many of you guys know who this character is? Has anybody? Joe Camel.
For little kids, they use Joe Camel and different characters, cartoon characters, so they could get hung on. And it is a scientifically proven fact that children look at Joe Camel more than they look at Mickey Mouse.
Lawsuits brought by local governments recently retired Joe Camel, but the tobacco industry continues to aggressively promote its products at events that kids love. Copenhagen Skoal, a manufacturer of chewing tobacco, has long been a major sponsor of the Salinas, California rodeo. The tobacco industry uses rodeo cowboys' all-American image to convince kids that they should chew tobacco. It's working. 11% of America's high school students use chewing tobacco.
The tobacco industry not only was sponsoring the rodeo, but they also had booths that they were giving out samples of chewed tobacco. We found adults going in there, but also, more disturbing, we found youth receiving these. This type of advertising and this type of an activity was totally unacceptable for something that really was a family event in our local community.
In addition to targeting kids at community events, the tobacco industry lies whenever it suits them.
Yes or no? Do you believe nicotine is not addictive? I believe nicotine is not addictive.
Cigarettes and nicotine clearly do not meet the classic definitions of addiction.
I believe that nicotine is not addictive. And I too believe that nicotine is not addictive.
In California and other states, the tobacco industry has also interfered with county health departments by requesting huge numbers of documents.
In February of 1993, we were initially tipped off that this was happening because we got a request from a local resident and a $50 check. We're very busy, and when we got that request, we realized that if we were to spend all the time collecting all the documents, copying the documents for the folks that requested them, that it would tie up our staff time, tie up resources, and our ability to do the work that we're mandated to do by the voters of California.
I've been working on this issue for 20 years, and I've never yet found a genuine grassroots organization of smokers or anyone else opposed to a tobacco control ordinance. They all claim to be just a group of concerned citizens, and sooner or later the patina is peeled back and you find out it was organized and financed by a cigarette company.
Once we started looking into who actually wrote the checks to pay for the document requests, we traced it back to a law firm that was tied to Philip Morris. So while they call themselves a grassroots organization, there's very clear ties to the tobacco industry.
What do you do to fight tobacco industry tactics like these? You learn from people who have taken on the tobacco industry and won. People like the Teen Tobacco Awareness Project. It became apparent to people in South Central Los Angeles that the tobacco industry was advertising much more heavily in their neighborhoods than in more prosperous areas. And to the members of the Teen Tobacco Awareness Project, a group of Latino and African American teenagers, the tobacco industry's reasons were obvious.
The way that the advertisement is made is that they make it so that it appeals to youth. They make it so that it gives it makes it seem like smoking is cool, like smoking is something that is fun, that people enjoy themselves when they smoke, that it's appealing to the opposite sex, that any time that there's cigarettes involved, or sometimes even alcohol, that there is always fun there.
The tobacco industry targets us in many different ways. First of all, with the billboards near our high schools and our communities, near the churches or playgrounds where kids usually hang out. And they also use sex appeal as well as athletics, saying that if we use this, if we smoke these cigarettes or if we drink this beer, we're going to look like them.
It was an issue that many individuals and organizations wanted to get involved in. The question was, how to get started? The answer? Get the facts absolutely right. With the problem meticulously documented, the Teen Tobacco Awareness Project took their findings to their city council member, Rita Walters.
The youngsters from the coalition came to me and presented me with their findings, very professionally done, and asked for my assistance in contacting the billboard companies.
The coalition was successful in their fight against tobacco billboards.
I think we were successful because we used and stuck to the tenets of modern community organizing. We wanted to make sure that the relationship between the community and the billboard companies was different when we walked away from our campaign than it was when we got there.
In order for a poor community to take on the tobacco industry or the advertising industry and prevail, two things have to happen at least. One is a broad coalition needs to be established so that there is people power associated with the cause. And another is that alliances need to be forged, recognizing that the issue transcends any given neighborhood, and it's going to take people from across a community to be supportive before success is going to be achieved. But if one can get that people power engaged and develop those coalitions across a broad spectrum of elected officials and other public policymakers, there's great potential.
A lot of people expect an immediate victory in this type of a battle with the tobacco industry. And when you're asking a community organization to eliminate thousands of dollars of advertising and sponsorship, they're not going to jump at that idea immediately. It may take several years, as it did in our case, but I'm convinced if you can mobilize the community over this issue, that eventually the victory is going to be ours.